All right, everyone. Welcome to Twin Cities Sports Talk. Bruce Kramer, Trevor Kramer in the Timberwolves bucket hat. Today, the main part of the episode, we are going to be reviewing Kwesi, Adofo Mensah, and Kevin O'Connell's entire tenure as the Vikings head guys, the guys who make the decisions, the guys that are supposed to develop their players. And we're going to be going right to the day they hired and go through every single thing these guys have done in their job title. Trevor, how you doing today?
Elite, doing well, just chilling at the home. Doing
Good.
well, can't complain.
Awesome. Yeah, we don't have any sports for us today. Wild T-Wolves tomorrow. Twins not going to do anything for the next few months. Not going to sign anyone. Um, then we know the Vikings and Gophers. So I think we'll just get started right here. First off, we're going to go right back to January 26th, 2022, the day our savior, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, gets hired, and then he hires Kevin O'Connell instead of Jim Harbaugh on February 16th. Trevor, do you think things would be different if Jim Harbaugh was the Vikings coach? Because it was between those two.
Yep, yeah, I for sure. Harbaugh is what is this, year 2 or 3 with the Chargers?
I think it's
Regardless, I mean
second.
he's showing the success.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers made playoffs last year, right? I'm not losing my mind. Well, then this year they're in it again. They're going to be quarterback plays there. I mean, but you can argue Herbert's got the experience, but overall he's won everywhere he's gone. He won at Michigan. He's won with the Niners. Chargers are looking like they've got a real chance in the AFC to represent AFC in the Super Bowl. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we made the wrong decision there. Now we still have faith in KOC, but
That's the thing. Like, don't get it wrong. Trevor and I love KOC. But like, there's a lot of things that are, I could say, going wrong right now, and things that people could blame on him, and I think rightfully so could blame on him. But Jim Harbaugh, just a hard-nosed football coach. The guy, it doesn't seem like he cares if he calls plays or not. He's not too stubborn with that because he hasn't been calling the plays in LA. And the Chargers offense has been top 5 in a lot of categories since he became the coach last, like, a year or two ago or whatever it was. Yeah, either way. First off, the first couple of moves Kwesi does when he gets in, first off, he extends Kirk Cousins for that next year, and where it's a bit of a deep pay decrease. I think it went from 46 million, his regular pay on that contract he signed in 2018, and then they signed him through 2023 for about 41. I'm pretty sure, if that sounds right.
Yeah. I can't remember, but I mean,
either way, it was just an extension for another year of Kirk. Just a veteran quarterback for Kevin O'Connell to work with. And if people remember, 2022 was the 13-win year, lost to the Giants in the playoffs, Kevin's first year. It was a really fun year, really good offense, but obviously couldn't pull through. The next couple moves, Jordan Hicks, Zadarius Smith, and Patrick Peterson. So if some of those guys, that Zadarius Smith had 10 sacks that year, Patrick Peterson had a few picks and had one of the better years in the back end of his career. So I'd say like that free agent class right there. If we had, so what would you put a grade for it, Trev? Zadarius Smith, Jordan Hicks, who was a great contributor, and then
yeah, I was gonna say all those
Patrick
guys.
Peterson.
I think ended up being well, and just having Patrick Peterson's leadership and experience.
Yeah, he really.
I'm trying to think who are the corners. Is it like Cam Dantzler, Gladney before he passed?
Yeah.
But the point being, pretty well overall. I think all three contributed. I'd probably put that, because that's the 13-win team. Go B. B.
Yeah,
B. B
I was gonna
plus.
say a B plus. Yeah. I don't know the rest of the free agent class if you could have had better or worse guys based on how much money, but I'd say a B plus based on just a far away analysis of that. And then after that, April, it's the drafting time. This is mainly the draft that Kwesi got so much crap for. I think, I don't remember here, but we can count. I think he made like 7 or like 5 or 6 trades within the draft. And obviously the big one, here we go. Round 1, Kwesi, he is slotted in at 12. Okay. And he trades the first thing he does in the draft is trade pick 12 and 46 to the Lions for pick 32, 34, and 66. And here are some guys you could have had with that pick at 12. You could have either had Kyle Hamilton, which we've harped about a ton, and then you could have had the Eagles' huge pass rusher Jordan Davis because he went at 13. That's another guy. And that guy was supposed to go top 5. He dropped. He like fell hard in that draft because of off-field stuff because he's from Georgia. That's just noted from Georgia. Jamison Williams is who the Lions took at 12, and he's a big contributor on their offense now. And then the Packers later at like 17, I think they got Quay Walker, who is a starting middle linebacker in the league, good player. But instead, at the 32nd pick, the Vikings pick Lewis Seen. And he was off the team within 2 years. Granted, he did have that very gruesome injury in London, I think, against the Saints.
Yep.
On that punt on the special teams. But either way, maybe that just changed him forever. We will never know. But he didn't play one single defensive snap in the regular season for us. So in all honesty, to us, he's a bust. If like, I mean, if
he's the picture of if you're looking for what player looks like a bust, it's gonna be Lewis Seen. And yeah, what made that worse is not only is you had one of the worst picks in recent years, you gifted the Lions Jamison Williams at 12.
Mm-hmm.
You trade with division rival, give them a very quality second receiver behind Amon-Ra St. Brown, talking like currently.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bad. So terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was terrible. And if you're talking about trading in division, guess what Kwesi did right after he traded that pick? He called Green Bay, and then he traded the 34th overall pick for Green Bay's 53rd and 59th pick. Green Bay took Christian Watson with that pick. And at this point in time, the Vikings had just the duo of Jefferson and Thielen rocking. Obviously, Thielen was a little bit aging at that point. He was still playing lights out, to be honest. But I think a Christian Watson could have helped out a lot, like a very good deep threat. But also two running backs, which this is also Dalvin Cook, super good 2022 year. After that, he wasn't really the same ever. But you could have had Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker with that 34th pick. Just a couple guys there. But then after they made that trade with Green Bay, they then traded for the 42nd and 122nd pick for the 53rd, 77th, and 192nd. So really just blank for blank for blank. Just doesn't really matter. You get a second rounder, you give up one. It didn't really matter for the most part. And then so the second round draft picks and so the second and third round draft picks, Andrew Booth, gone. I don't know if he's on a team right now.
I know he went to Dallas because Zimmer.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Zimmer did I believe it was just 1 year as their defensive coordinator because that's when they still had McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
From what I remember, I don't think Booth ever had a good game with them. I think he was average at best. I remember couldn't tell you which primetime game, but Thursday night, Monday night, Sunday night, regardless, Booth was starting, and I mean he was just getting burned left and right. So I think it was just a 1 year with Dallas, and I'm almost certainly he's just gone free agent.
So then it's Lewis Seen and Andrew Booth, two defensive backs that you draft, two absolute busts, no contributing anywhere they go. And then in the third round, you draft Ed Ingram was a second rounder. So
late second.
Yeah, Ed Ingram, complete bust. But actually this year, we just checked this a few weeks ago. He's actually reliable for the Texans, which that sucks. Whatever, maybe a trade just kind of boosted his work ethic maybe. But he was a complete bust, one of the worst offensive guards for each year he played in Minnesota.
Yeah, I think with Ingram, it's probably a mix of two things. Yeah, a little wake up call.
Yeah.
And then it makes you really question probably the coaching too. For the life of me, I can't remember is it like Chris Cooper or something?
Yeah, Cooper. You're right. It's Cooper.
Yeah. So
now I don't know if he was the offensive line coach in 2022, but
right.
either way, he's the O-line coach now. And then in the third round, you draft Brian Asamoah, who, hey, lucky for us, he lasted 3.5 years, and then he just got cut this offseason by the Vikings, basically, because it was his contract year. They weren't going to pay him either way. But he is also, in my regard, a bust. He didn't contribute on the defense really at all in these 3 years that he was drafted. And I don't know where did he go to the Browns, or I'm not sure where
I
he
know
went.
he is with a team. I can't remember
Yeah,
top of my head, but I think you're on the right track. It's some
I don't
rebuild.
think he's contributing though. He was just a
No,
full-time
I
special
like
teamer for us, and
anyway. Yeah, because my only
yeah.
memory from him or with us is I mean he could lay some solid hits, but besides that,
hmm
he never.
He
Um,
had the one fumble, like the forced fumble in a division. I think it was the Bears game 2 years ago. That's the only notable play though, because it was because of injuries and stuff, people being out. Jordan Hicks was out. That's what it was.
okay.
2 years ago. Either way, your first 4 picks as GM, all busts and not even debatable. And then you go and acquire the 118 pick from Cleveland for 156 and a 2023 fourth round pick. So you trade, you give up a fourth to, or shoot, you get a fourth this year and a fourth next year for your third rounder in 2022. And then they made another trade. Shocker. 126 goes to the Raiders for 165 and 169. And then no more trades happened after this. These are the guys they drafted from rounds 4 to 7th. Caleb Evans, Asizi Adamayo from the Gophers. I forget.
Big O, we'll
Yeah,
say.
Big O. Yeah. Ty Chandler, Vidarian Lowe, Jalen Naylor, and Nick Muse. Caleb Evans was pretty terrible for all of his time, really. And these guys, like, not all of these guys are going to pan out no matter what. These are late round draft picks, but again, the only guy here that is contributing is Jalen Naylor, a 6th round pick.
Yeah.
Nick Muse was on the team for 2.5 years. Ty Chandler, he stuck through, but he's never done anything except one game last year against San Fran where he ran for 100. But if you look at all these guys, it's terrible. You come out of this draft with one guy in the 6th round, Jalen Naylor, who is your third wide receiver in 2025, and is set to make a pretty good payday at the end of this year, which it's good for him, whether it be with the Vikings or someone else. But he'll be
Right.
testing free agency. And then the only notable UDFA from the 2022 draft is Ryan Wright, our starting punter, to this day still. So Trev, give a grade on this draft.
Yeah. I mean, it's an F, even with Naylor. You
Yeah.
bust out. Yeah, because I'm looking at the list real quick to make sure I didn't miss a name. The final 5 was Caleb Evans, Big O, Chandler, Naylor, Nick Muse, right?
Chandler, Vidarian Lowe,
Oh, wow.
the offensive lineman. Yeah. And
Those,
then
okay.
Naylor and Muse. But either way, you have
Regardless, it's an
4.
F. I mean, just between Scene and Booth, the decision to trade 12 for 32 and 46, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
You trade it with Detroit. I mean, it's just bad.
Yeah.
Ingram really didn't produce at all. Yeah, Asamoah bust. So yeah, it's an F. You could have had Kyle Hamilton. You could have had one of the best safeties. And think of how good Kyle Hamilton is. Imagine him learning from Harrison Smith.
And being in a Brian Flores type defense too. Oh
Right,
my
where you can move
gosh.
them around.
Yes.
I mean, him and Metellus having both like
Mm-hmm.
queens will say on the chessboard. What could have been. So it's
Yeah.
an easy
That's a
F.
good way to put it.
Even with
Mm-hmm.
Naylor, it's terrible.
I mean, yeah, you can nail a 6th round pick, but when your first 6 or 7 picks in this draft aren't on the team in 2 years, it is an F minus. Like, and what you said too, if you're going to trade back in the first round, you cannot trade 20 picks back and to a division rival. I mean, that is absurd. You don't ever see that where guys basically trade back out of the first round. You guys, if they like traded back to around 20 because we were at 12 and still got, because there was guys in the 20s that were still reliable. But I mean, you can't name many other times people trade back 20 spots out of the first or close to out of the first.
And now what just popped in my head too, kind of talking with those later picks, is Ty Chandler still on the team? Because I know he played the Bears game. Is he just still hurt? Because I know Xavier Scott. I mean, he's got to be, but he's. I mean,
Ty's on the IR or whatever.
Chandler's on the team right now, but he almost certainly, as I say, is probably almost darn close to a 1% chance he returns next year. Just because I gotta believe
I think less than 1%
on the team, and I mean they don't play him at running back because he had some solid flashes when he was starting 2 years ago. So yeah, pretty much Naylor is just the other guy, or the only guy.
The only guy. And that if you were counting, that's 10 picks, and you nailed one. And he's not even like a superstar.
Yeah, he's just
a role player.
He's a quality player, but nothing. Yeah, he's not going to be a difference maker. Yeah, so that's great. And then if I remember correctly, Nick Muse went to the Eagles and won the Super Bowl with them. So good for him.
Terrible draft. F-. You will give it a Z if the grading scale could go that low. All right. Zooming into that year, into the 2022 year, obviously the good year. This is the first notable trade Kwesi made, which at the time, this was really good. On November 1st, he trades a 2023 second rounder, a third rounder in 2024 in exchange for Lions tight end TJ Hawkinson. And this is when TJ was going really well in a lot of different categories. I honestly, I love this move. And if I still had to grade it at the time of this move, I'd still give it like a B or maybe even like an A-, because when he got here, his first game was in Washington where he had like 10 catches. He was very, very much featured in this offense. But then he got tackled 6 yards short of a first down in a wild card game to seal the win for the Giants. So that's tough. But that was like the only notable thing to end the 2022 year. So moving on. Or sorry, keep going.
I mean, I was just basically going to agree. Those early years with Hawkins, when he acquired him, it was great. I'm drawing a blank. Was Irv Smith? Who was the tight end?
Yep.
Or Rudolph? Was Rudolph still playing? I don't think so.
No. It was Irv Smith. Yeah.
But big need at tight end that you did end up filling. So those recent years, or the first couple years, obviously went well with the Vikings.
Yep.
So overall, good trade.
Yeah. Moving on to 2023, just a whole year now. You start off the new year in March or February, releasing Adam Thielen and Eric Kendricks and Cam Dantzler. Those were your three big releases, which the time had to come. You really couldn't pay them. You were paying Kirk Cousins at this point, and you couldn't pay a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
And then you re-signed Garrett Bradbury and Nick Mullins, which the Nick Mullins signing, good, just have a reliable guy that will throw the ball after. And then your three big free agency signings. Your three signings.
Yeah, real quick. Thielen, Kendricks, who was the third name gone?
Cam Dantzler.
Yeah. Keep going.
And Kendricks, he went to Dallas. Thielen obviously went to Carolina, said they were Super Bowl worthy, and then they won 3 games.
Maybe if you said that.
Yeah. Cam Dantzler, I forget where he went after that, but that was a Rick Spielman bust, but
yeah, I think Dantzler was at Washington, maybe. Regardless, kind of like same with the Caleb Evans, where you're just a backup. But, he's not playing anymore.
Yep. That free agency class was Josh Oliver, because that was Irv Smith's first year being gone, 2023. Josh Oliver, Marcus Davenport, and then Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy you got for $7 million that year. I remember that because I was in a heated argument with someone over Instagram about how Byron Murphy is a good deal for $7 million, and that was when Murphy was 26. He elected into free agency earlier than most guys. Oliver and Davenport were just 1-year deals, though. All right, that's it. What's a grade for that free agency class? You get a second tight end, another edge rusher, but
I'm gonna, and then between those free agents, And then combining it with the re-signs of Bradbury and Mullins.
Yep.
Oliver was very sneaky good blocking tight end, which a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, you don't see it on the stat sheet, so the average fan probably doesn't realize how key he was. Davenport, I think, was injured more than he played, so that kind of busted.
Yep.
Byron Murphy on a very team-friendly deal, so that's a win. So you have Murphy, Oliver on a win. I think Bradbury was, not terrible,
I
not
think that
good.
was 10 million if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, so I
I just
mean,
looked at it.
you can maybe argue for the price slightly below average.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mullins, that wasn't the year he played, right?
Yeah,
I
it
think,
was 2023 is the year he played.
but I guess
Towards his Achilles.
the Achilles, yeah. So I
Yeah.
guess keeping Mullins that ended up being key,
Yeah.
although that kind of a quarterback carousel. Grade wise, Davenport is terrible. Murphy Oliver, I'd say a B because
B.
Bradbury was iffy. Yeah, I'll go B.
Mm-hmm. The thing I go C plus because like Davenport dealt with injuries in his career before, and you always like they took that
You knew.
risk, and then that risk ended up paying off in the bad way, and he was hurt for like 80% of the year. So that was bad on that, but it's not like a D or anything. It's still you got a few good a few good serviceable
That
guys.
Murphy one was very key.
Yeah, yeah,
Just because then you're able to keep him up to the current day.
mm-hmm.
So.
Exactly. Yeah, and if people know this, after March comes April, and April comes the NFL draft. So here's the second draft of Kwesi. He goes from an F minus agreed upon from Trevor and Bruce. We'll see what he gets here. In the first round, this is where they draft Jordan Addison. They stick and pick at 23. I think we can both agree that one's turned out. Maybe the off the field stuff sucks. It does, but like you can't
Yeah, overall
control
that's
that
like
really.
plus.
Yeah. And then they make their first trade. They give up 87 for the 49ers, 102, 164, and 222. So you give up a third round pick for a fourth, fifth, and seventh.
7.
So, and then, so at 102, the Vikings draft Mekhi Blackman. And I want to take a minute to talk about Blackman because his career's been weird, very weird. His first year, obviously 2023, he's the third corner going in, and he actually, some people have issues with PFF, but he was rated a 77, which is actually higher than average at cornerbacks in the NFL in his rookie year, and he made a bunch of flash plays. And it was someone I was very excited to see going into 2024 and beyond because I'm like, man, we actually hit on a draft pick here. And then was it his ACL, right?
Mm-hmm.
He tears his ACL on the first day of training camp in 2024, is out for the whole year, and then comes back this year in 2025, and they made the call that he didn't look right. He didn't look strong in the legs, whatever they said in training camp. He was like the fourth or fifth corner coming out of training camp behind Jeff Okudah, he was third overall pick, and Akudah's been one of the biggest busts of all time. Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming you feel the same way about that, but it's been weird.
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. So yeah, very, very productive. Had some good flashes rookie year. Then breaks his leg, unfortunately, year 2, so that's just washed. And then yeah, I mean, you and I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure medical they had concerns or whether he just looked slower and not as agile, whatever the case may be. So believe it was weird too, because I mean you got something for him, but I'm pretty sure it was the 6th round pick from the Colts. So
I
it's
have it when we get to it. I think it was the
okay.
5th, but either way.
But yeah, so I mean we'll see how that pays off in the future if you can get that pick right or not, which as we're discussing, we have our doubts, but yeah, for Blackman, it's kind of weird because it was good. Unfortunate year 2 with the broken leg, and then year 3, goodbye.
It's like weird because you don't want to like label him as a bust, but like because of the first year, but like then for all I know, I haven't watched a ton of the Colts games this year. I think he's been
I think
serviceable,
he's
pretty
been
good.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's good for him to see, but it's another guy the Vikings gave up on. So I'd call it,
Right.
for Vikings-wise, a bust. So
Well, and then
so
to add
far,
one more thing, I mean,
yep.
just for the depth reason at corner with
Yeah.
how thin we are. Last couple
Mhm.
of games you've been playing Fabian Moreau because
Yeah.
Okuda's hurt, and then
Mhm.
even if Okuda is playing, you know what you're going to get out of him.
He's
If
been
if he if
horrible.
he's if he plays well, it's going to be average at best. And
Yep.
then Monroe or Moreau,
Yep.
he's what 30. So I mean, it's you gave up on a young corner. I get the leg
Mhm.
concerns, but yeah, probably should not have traded him yet.
Yeah. And so, like, stopping there, 2022 draft, I don't like Naylor, you can say is a hit, but like it's not like an early guy. Mekhi Blackman was a third round pick. He was actually the last pick in the third round. So you hit on no one in these except Jordan Addison. So one good pick. After Mekhi Blackman, the Vikings traded 119 to the Chiefs for 134 and a 2024 fifth round pick. So you get 1/5 for next year. You trade a fourth and get a fourth back. I think the trade's fine. I didn't look to see if anyone big was around there that they could have had or anything, but
Sure,
whatever.
probably some names.
And then right after that, they traded 144, or they traded for 141. They got 141 and gave up 158 and 211 to the Colts. And then with all these picks from the fourth round and beyond, they drafted Jay Ward, who Jay Ward is getting snaps right now. He's like
Yeah.
just like the backup safety. And when Harry Hitman retires, he might see a bigger role next year.
Mm-hmm.
They also internally like him as like the next Josh Metellus type role for this defense. So I mean, maybe he pans out, but I mean, he's had a few good plays where he comes through like the A gap and really rushes down a running
Oh,
back,
yeah.
and
I think
it's
it was the Ravens game, right, where he had like 2 key
yeah,
blitzes
big TFLs. Yeah,
and yeah,
yep.
you got Jay Ward.
That was our fourth round pick, Jay Ward. Fifth round pick, I forget how to say his name. Jacqueline Roy,
Oh,
the
yeah,
defensive
Kellen
tackle out
Roy.
of LSU. Yeah, another bust. He's terrible. I mean, I don't know if he's on a team anymore.
That
Maybe a
I do not
practice
know.
squad somewhere, but either
Mm-hmm.
way. And then your next fifth round pick was quarterback sensation Jaron Hall. And I did see this one. Puka Nakua went 4 picks later.
Oh
So,
wow.
I mean, you could have never known because at that time you had Addison, Jefferson, Naylor as your receivers. So you probably wouldn't have
Yeah,
taken him either
good
way. But
listening.
like, I mean, if you
Well,
knew how he would be today, like you would
then he
have
would have won for sure.
obviously. But
Really. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. But like,
right. You can't really
it
blame
just
them.
sucks. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, And then you didn't have a sixth round pick this year. And then in the seventh, you took running back Dwayne McBride, who didn't obviously do anything. Preseason star, I guess.
Who had? Well, he's also what was it? UAB.
Yeah.
Uh,
University of
right.
Alabama,
So playing
Birmingham.
at that small Division I school, he's running people over and all that, but he didn't have the speed and all that. So,
Hmm.
uh, but for Jaron Hall, talk about being unlucky. You finally start. Kirk gets hurt.
Yeah.
And he starts the Atlanta game. You're driving down the entire field. You know, the offense is moving smoothly.
Oh, I
And
forgot
then,
about this.
what was
Yeah.
he? He was scrambling out right, and he's like going for the end zone. It's like bang,
On the
bang.
1 yard line.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
gets crunched, smacks his head on the turf or grass. I think it's turf,
Yeah.
regardless. Concussion. And that was pretty much it. I know he started the home game against Green Bay. That went
That was
disastrous.
terrible.
But you wonder if you
Yeah.
don't get hurt or you take that hit, but your head doesn't whiplash back.
Hmm.
How does that rest of the game go? Because that's where then it turned into the
Josh
miracle with
Dobbs.
the Pastronaut introducing
Yeah.
himself. But
Yeah.
yes, just I always think what could have been with Hall. I don't think he would have panned into a stutter or anything, but if
Could have
that
been a
game goes
serviceable.
well,
Yeah.
it would have been fun seeing him play more than one drive because that was pretty much the only chance he got.
Yeah, and I think on that first drive, he was pretty good too. He made 2 good passes downfield. They ran the
Yeah,
ball. Yeah.
the ball was moving well.
Mhm.
I know he went to Seattle
Yep.
last year's season. Do you know, is he still on Seattle or on a team?
No, not on Seattle because they have Jalen Milroe and Drew Lock still. That's
That's
their
right.
quarterback room with
Well, if
Darnold.
anything, practice squad, but probably not. Okay.
I don't know if he's in the league anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So notable UDFAs this year we signed Ivan Pace, Jalen Williams, who stuck around for a few years at corner, and then Andre Carter, who he had like some hopefulness in a few
Mm-hmm.
training camps. I think he made one team in 20, maybe it was last year. I forget. But as a special teams guy, it wasn't like it's not super notable, but I gotta pick and choose the ones I can if I can find them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you get? What do you grade this draft? Jordan Addison, Mekhi Blackman, and then a bunch of not. I mean, Jay Ward's a good
Yeah,
piece,
it's just like
but
special team and practice squad kind of names.
yeah.
Jihad, or not Jihad Ward.
Oh, and this is
Jay
without
Ward.
the UDFA. Without the
Yeah.
UDFA is like the
Yeah, if
actual
we're just
draft.
strictly
Yeah.
talking picks. So
Hmm.
yeah, Addison B plus. You could argue A if you eliminate off the field. If you're talking football, strictly
I'd do
football.
A
But
minus. Yeah.
so yeah, B plus A minus. We'll agree on that. Blackman
Hmm.
was quality as discussed. We know how that went. Jay Ward. It's weird because before this year he never really played besides special
Yeah,
teams.
it's taken a while. Yeah.
Yeah, Roy, which was bust. Hall, which we'll say bust, even though it's not terrible as a quarterback. You're taking a flyer. And then McBride didn't really play, so I'll go overall. It sucks because you gave up on Blackman early, which is lowering my overall grade. I'll
Yeah,
go like
exactly.
C plus, just because you have Addison. Blackman was good for 1 year, but you gave up on him early. Jay Ward,
Hmm.
we'll see. Can't really say much on him. Yeah, C plus. I don't know.
I
C
say,
plus.
yeah, I think I say just a C because it did take Jay Ward like 3 years here to actually like
Yeah.
find a spot because he came in as a corner, I think, and now they've like switched him to safety in the past year and a half, and now he has to adjust to that. Now he's finally found a better spot, like finally. But yeah, Blackman, the good rookie year. Addison's been good, so it stinks, but you found one starter. So in these first two drafts, you have two starters, and they're both wide receivers, not one
Yeah.
defensive player. Oh, sorry. And you have like a few undrafted free agent, the Kwesi masterclass. Um, Either way, two starters, they're both wide receivers. All right, after the draft, before the season, they traded Zadarius Smith to the Browns, and then they ended up releasing Dalvin Cook before the 2023 season, Alexander Madison time. I don't know if you remember, Trev. I expected Madison to be just perfect.
Good.
Like, I think he was going to be great, but
Yeah, because he was good as the backup to Cook,
yeah,
but then we realized when he was
starter,
the starter, it
it
just
was
fell off.
bad,
And
bad,
actually,
bad.
I don't even know if you know this one quick, not to get distracted, but
Hmm.
Madison had the I think it was a neck injury, pretty
Yep,
serious injury.
the
Preseason
stinger.
week 1 this year,
Hmm.
and he's not playing this year. It sounds like it's not career ending, or he can return. But my thing is, he's old now for running back age.
Yep.
He hasn't been good. He had a bad year with the Raiders, bad year his last year with us. So my thing is, between the injury and age and poor play, I don't know if he plays again either, which is too bad because I mean he was just a
He was a
good
good dude.
overall guy, and
Yeah, yeah.
I think he
Good
is
locker
up
room
done.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it stinks. Zooming into the 2023 season, it is October 31st. Kirk Cousins tears his Achilles in Green Bay, and then Kwesi Adofo calls up the Pastronaut. The Vikings trade for Josh Dobbs and a conditional seventh round pick in 2024, and um, I forget. It didn't say on their website what they gave up, but I
For
completely forget. I
Dobbs,
think I think it was a sixth round pick
yeah, it was
because
six.
Dobbs was a
It was a
back.
lot,
I think
right?
it was a sixth.
Yeah.
And then that same day they traded Ezra Cleveland for a sixth round pick in 2024. So I don't think people remember that one, but Ezra was like a tiny bit below average offensive guard, and I think he's just been the same in Jacksonville, and I think he's still there if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
All right, that is it for the whole 2024 season. Then what did they go 7-10 that year? Missed the playoffs.
Yeah, I was
Kirk
gonna say
obviously
that's
got injured, but it was also Justin Jefferson also was injured for half that season too with that
the ribs
hamstring he
injury,
had.
or hammy.
Yeah. All right, zooming into 2024 now. This is where Kwesi has the money that he's wanted to play with. It's Kirk's first year being gone. So right away in 2024 for free agency, he signs Aaron Jones. He re-signs Brandon Powell, Jonathan Bullard, Sam Darnold, Blake Cashman, Jonathan Grenard, and Andrew Van Ginkel. If I had to give an immediate grade to this, I'd give it like an A minus or maybe like an A, maybe higher, because honestly, Aaron Jones, he played mostly the whole season last year. Jonathan Bullard was a decent run stopper. It wasn't anything in the pass rush at all, but Darnold, we don't even need to talk about him. MVP caliber season. Cashman, Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel transformed the defense. So,
yeah. Van Ginkel, Grenard on each edge alone. That was much improved. Aaron Jones. I didn't think how he played that year. I feel like it was productive, solid, nothing crazy.
He had over 1,000 yards, or I think he had 1,400 scrimmage yards, so pass and rush yards. So,
it's just also nice when we added him, knowing that you've got a good pass catcher for a third down back.
Yeah. And a good pass blocker. Aaron Jones is a very, very underrated pass blocker still.
Yeah. Obviously, we all know Darnold balled out, did his thing till all the final 2 weeks came. But yeah, so for grade, you pretty much nailed every position here. Anything, the one that maybe didn't pan out, but I don't think he got a big deal or anything, so it is what it is. It's Bullard, but he was okay.
I think it was $3 million. Yeah.
So I really could care less. It's not like you invested much in him, so yeah, I'd go A. You nailed your quarterback position. He was balling out. You and I have no regrets letting him go because when we pay a quarterback, we have too many holes. And if your team's not going to draft well, what good does it do to pay you?
There's a reason the Eagles are good every single year.
The Eagles,
they're the best drafters.
Lions, you can argue the Chiefs, who are 6-6 this year. Thing is, they've been paying Mahomes however much. They've moved off. Tyreek Hill which was a big thing, and but if you draft well, but no, I'd give it an A. The free.
I want to go back real quick too. In the middle of the 2023 season, I forgot to mention this because it doesn't show up on the transaction list. But one thing Trevor and I were begging for in the middle of the season trade deadline, you need to trade Danielle Hunter, which they needed to do. At the trade deadline, I think they were right around 500 or a game below it.
Yeah,
and I get the division wasn't as strong that year. The Bears were still pretty terrible. They didn't have Caleb Williams yet. The Lions were just starting to hit their stride, and get good. The Packers were just good either way. But I know we weren't in a good.
I was gonna say, even if you make playoffs with that team and all that team is not gonna go on a Super Bowl run or a run to Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, not with Nick Mullins.
You missed out on so much trade compensation and value you could have got there.
Because what do you think we would have got for Danielle? I think a second and third probably, or
I don't know. He's such a unique build and freak athlete with his length, size, strength. If it's just 1-for-1, if it's Danielle Hunter for a pick, I think you for sure get a second, just because that's, if you exclude quarterback, that's, I think, between a solid number one corner and a top pass rusher.
Yeah.
It's such a, or left tackle. Those, like I said, if you exclude quarterback, those are your next premier positions that you want to fill. I think you can find a team desperate enough where, if it's a playoff team, maybe even late first, but I think you definitely get a second. But if you want to do like Danielle Hunter in a midday pick, a 4
I
or a
was gonna
5,
say a fourth
you'll be
round
able to
pick
get a 1.
probably. Hmm.
Yeah, that was terrible. Not moving
The
on
other
from.
thing too is like in that defense and B-Flow's defense that year, the first year of Brian Flores, he was not being used right at all. Like that's not how Daniil. He should not be dropping back into coverage too and stuff. Like because sometimes you see Andrew Van Ginkel and stuff in this super blitz heavy defense. Random guys are dropping back at any time. You would see Daniil Hunter playing linebacker in the middle of the field. Like
Yeah.
it's not a spot you want to be in right
Oh,
there. But
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't that Donna Shell?
No, Donatel was 2022. That's the
Okay,
Vikings had the 30th ranked defense that year.
that's right.
That's
Okay.
how Daniel Jones threw for 380 yards in the playoffs. Um, yeah, but either way, I wanted to go back to that real quick because that could have changed a lot. I think you could have got that first rounder, at least
Yeah.
a second. But all right. So after that free agency for 2024 with Cashman, Grenard, and all of them, you trade your 40. This is before the draft. You trade your 42nd and 155th pick in 2024 for a 2025 second round and a 2024 23rd and 232nd pick. This is the Daniil Hunter thing. Or not trade. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You traded with the Texans here. Okay. You traded like for this upcoming draft, the 2024 draft, you trade a second and then a fourth round pick for this is really confusing. A 2025 second round pick from the Texans and the 2024 23rd pick and 232nd. That's it. All right. And then next draft is 2024. They did not make one trade this entire draft because they didn't have like basically any trade capital at all, except for trading up one pick to draft JJ McCarthy, who I don't even want to talk because there's been so much stuff like if he's a bust
Yeah,
or
we've
not.
talked about it. Yeah.
We've talked about it.
We'll
It
talk
doesn't
about it
need to be
more.
said. And then the only other trade was trading up to 17 to take Dallas Turner, which Dallas Turner is really hitting an edge right now. Has a sack in the last 3 games against Seattle this past weekend. He had 2 strip sacks, so he is really starting to come on, and that's super positive. So
And he's
because
still
he's a
extremely
first
young, too.
rounder, yes, super young. He's a first rounder, so you kind of have to start seeing it. They didn't have a second or third round pick in 2024, but then fourth round, rest in peace, Kyrie Jackson, which I know both of us were super excited about. A tall, fast, lengthy corner, but that it still sucks. Still sucks to this day. But yeah, he was our first fourth round pick. And then sixth round pick, Walter Rouse, who's now just a backup again. I think he
Which
should be start.
yeah.
I think
Yep.
he should be starting over Justin
That's
School.
where I was going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if School is playing fine, then I'll live with it. But
he's just not.
even if he is playing fine, for now that playoffs are out of the reach, he's most certainly not going to return to the team. Wouldn't you rather see what you got in Rouse?
You would think.
You would, yeah. That would be
You
the
would
logical thing, but I guess not. Anyways,
Yeah.
all right. So who was after Rouse?
Sixth round pick, Will Reichert, who right now looks to be your kicker of the foreseeable future, 100%. And then 2 seventh round pick, Michael Juergens. He's just simply the backup center. He's dealt with a few injuries this year. And then Levi Drake Rodriguez, who is becoming a beast. He's a starter on this defense now. And I mean, he's came on and not really let go of it.
He's got a great motor. He's a good run stop.
Yeah.
He came
He's
from
a huge dude.
Whatever tiny college, something like A&M.
It's Texas Southern, like community A&M college or some crap like that. Super small. I mean, it looks like it looks like a high school field if you go there and watch a game.
Oh, I
So
bet.
good pull by Kwesi.
Yeah.
Great draft pick by Kwesi Adofo Mensah.
Well, it's so hard to find these like gems, but and that's neither of us are saying he's gonna be a star player or anything, but if he can just do his role and all that, and it's just a fun guy to watch because literally he could be on like the far side of the field and he's just got that great motor where he's never gonna stop playing till the play's dead, and it just seems like a great teammate to wanna play with. So yeah,
I'm not saying that you don't think he'll be a star, but you said like we're not saying he will be. I actually do think he could be. Like Jalen Redmond, he is becoming a star. He just makes play after play after play. But Levi, he also like not as at a high enough clip like Jalen Redmond is, but Levi is getting into the backfield. He's super strong. His power rush is he gets through. He's more of like a Linval Joseph type where he's going to get through sometimes, but he's also pushing the quarterback from not like exiting the pocket, like right in the middle. You know, like a pocket. The quarterback steps up, and you can either kind of run out the side past like one of the tackles, or kind of just go up the middle to run. He's great at keeping the quarterback in the pocket in that aspect.
Yeah.
But he just shows so many flashes. Really, really good player for the Vikings. Yeah, just great player.
Yeah.
Okay. Notable undrafted free agents. Taki Taimani, who just had a little bit of buzz last year and this year about making the team. I don't think he
Is
did.
he on the team still?
I don't
for
think
practice
so.
squad? Okay.
Practice squad, yes. I think he is, yes. And then Dwight McGlothern, who when going into the draft, Dwight McGlothern was the second ranked corner in all of college football, but he dealt with a ton of injuries. So that's why he didn't get drafted. But him, and then the number you get the two. So the year before in 2023, you get Ivan Pace, the number one ranked undrafted free agent. And then you get Gabe Murphy, who really any other draft, if the outside linebacker depth wasn't so deep, he probably would have gone in the 5th round or maybe like 4th. A lot of people would say. But you get Gabe Murphy, who hasn't been a contributor yet, but this preseason, he destroyed any offensive tackle he lined up against. And I think he could be a part of for the future if the Vikings were to maybe move on from Gink or Grenard in the offseason.
Well, yeah, if there's to kind of tie Murphy into it, that's weird. With us having McCarthy on his like rookie scale money, we'd have more cap space. But with all the money they spent and all that, cap space is a little iffy, and they're gonna have to get creative. So with trades or more likely roster cuts, if you like Van Ginkel, I don't think you get rid of him. He just seems like one of those like captains on the defense, leaders, especially too if almost certainly Harrison Smith's going to be retired. But Grenard, I think, could be where it might seem like a shock to a lot of players, or not players, fans, and even to us, just because we appreciate him so much. But you gotta free up some money, and so if you really want Dallas Turner to be a full-time starter, and have him take Grenard's spot, and then as discussed on yesterday's podcast, Gabe Murphy could take over as that first backup, that third edge rusher. So I think Murphy could be very sneaky under the radar quality player starting next year. It's weird from McGlothern how he doesn't play, or they choose to not play him, and why they're picking Fabian Moreau, which nothing against him, but you have no future on the team. Where you would think you'd want to see him play corner and see what you got there. So
there's obviously just a super hesitant little amp to play McGlothern. Like they are avoiding it. You went and re-signed Fabian Moreau, just a 30-year-old corner, just so McGlothern wouldn't have to play, or Nudie as they call him in the locker room.
It's weird too because I think Moreau didn't. Because we had him last year. I think he started preseason with the Niners. I think he was on their practice squad. But the thing is, so he was briefly away from the team after last year's season. Clearly, we took him back. I don't know. I'm sure Flores has his reasons, but it's still odd if you're 4-8 now.
Exactly.
I don't know. I guess we'll see how the final 5 games go if they give them a chance to play, but I would hope. But we'll see.
All right. Then the last undrafted free agent was Bo Richter, who's just been a special teams guy. They like him. Good locker room guy. Either way. And then after the draft, last summer, you extend Justin Jefferson the mega deal, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. We both agree that was the right thing to do. And then you signed Jalen Redmond out of the UFL or whatever league he came out of, which has turned out to be maybe the best signing in the past 2 years. And then so you trade a conditional 2026 6th-round pick to Houston. Oh, sorry, this is in the middle of the season in 2024, October 15th. You traded a 6th-round pick conditional in 2026 draft for Cam Akers and a conditional 7th-round pick in 2026. That was one of the times we got Cam Akers, so whatever. It's kind of just a wash. On October 30th, you're saying, "Oh my gosh, Christian Darrisaw just tore everything in his knee. We need to trade for." They traded a conditional 5th-round pick in 2026 to the Jaguars for Cam Robinson and a conditional 7th-round pick. So just another and Cam Robinson was good for just stepping in, and he's serviceable.
I forget who would have been or who at the time was the replacement for Darrisaw. I can't remember.
I think it would have been Brandel. I think that was the talk that it would have been Brandel.
That's true. I think you're right. But yeah, no, for basically trading a very late pick to just get a stable spot when you know you're making playoffs, covered the blind side for Darnold.
They needed to do something because you couldn't have those back. Like at this point in the season, they were like 9-2 or whatever, and they're like, "We're gonna make the playoffs." Like,
So even though you trade a late pick, you're essentially is kind of gonna get washed because with him signing with who did he sign with? I think he signed with a team, but then he got traded at some point
during the year.
But the point being is we're going to get a compensatory pick for him. So it kind of, balances it out.
Yeah.
So, I like that trade. The Akers thing is just funny as a joke. I don't remember him ever really being utilized. Like, I know he played, but I don't remember anything he did. So that's like, whatever is what it is.
But
yeah, that Redmond thing or signing.
Yeah. That was great.
At the time, nobody even thought anything of it, but he's been showing up. So that was a gem.
This entire year. Yeah. All right. That's the end of 2024. 2025 now. First, everything started in March, and this is the heavy we spend. We had a lot of money to spend, and Kwesi spent it. Re-signed Theo Jackson, Aaron Jones, Ryan Wright. All right. Those are the 3 re-signs. We're good there.
You're real quick. So Theo Jackson, who else?
Aaron Jones and Ryan Wright.
Yeah.
And then free agents. This is a list right here, man. Jonathan Allen, Byron Murphy, and I get you could say re-sign, but Byron Murphy tested the market or whatever. Like he elected for free agency.
He technically tested the market.
Yeah. Will Fries, Ryan Kelly, Isaiah Rogers, Tyveri Thomas, the special teams dude that's made 3 penalties this year, Javon Hargrave, and then they also signed Justin School, Eric Wilson, Jeff Okuda, and that's it.
You forgot one, but he a receiver who broke his leg, Rondell Moore. But
yeah, I know I did,
which is actually interesting because like you really think too, like because then you probably don't trade for Thielen, but just with how athletic and speedy he was and all that, it just makes me wonder. I'm sure the season would have continued. Like he's not a difference maker, but would that have helped McCarthy at all? A quick little. Get him just on the drag route or a slant or give him a quick screen or even put him on a sweep. I always kind of keep thinking of that recently. But no, overall, that draft class, for the most part, is weird because it's either gone really well or it's gone terribly. So
really quickly, because we're making this pretty long, but really quickly, I'm just going to name each one. We'll just say so Jonathan Allen, he's old. He's not playing as many snaps as even like we said he would be. And we decreased it from what he has been in the past few years. But, I mean, he hasn't had a lot of splash plays, to be honest. Like, you don't see him in on a lot of plays, but what you kind of think of there? Yeah, not like a grade, but just like overall. How well he's played. Yeah, just overall.
Yeah, I mean, for when we got him, I know you and I were each super excited because I think he signed on day 2 or 3.
2.
But yeah, so for the excitement that we had for him, it's been a letdown. Now, he hasn't been as bad as how bad Hargrave's been for that interior D line.
Yep.
But to keep it on Allen, I don't know. It's just been underwhelming. Not terrible, but underwhelming.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, you said Hargrave there. Hargrave signed for more money than Allen did. He was coming off an injury in San Fran last year, but off of that, he was still having incredible years in a row. This injury may have not helped anything, but he has been arguably worse than Allen. Signed for more. Another one that's just underwhelming, and we should have been a bit more hesitant because they're both like 36 and 34 or something, or they're both like
I don't know if
34
they're
and
that old,
35.
but the point being is they're not young by any means.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And Hargrave is almost certainly they're going to give up on him. Or not even give up, but like it's not been worth it. So they're going to have to pay off his guarantees, but you can at least save a little bit against the cap. I think Allen returns next year because I think he's had a year deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't see Hargrave back at all. I'd be shocked if he's back.
Okay, I was way off with their age. What the heck? Yeah.
What's that?
I was way off with their age.
I was gonna say you shot a little high.
I must be thinking of somewhere else, or someone else.
Good.
Like,
yeah.
All right. Either way, Byron Murphy signed him to a 4-year deal. Byron Murphy has been pretty bad for basically this whole year. Like, not good. He's being tasked with lining up against a bunch of the wide receiver ones on teams, and he's getting beat on a lot of stuff, which it's hard because you blitz so much. You don't really have a lot of help. But like the difference between last year and this year is it's just one-sided. Like it's a complete flip. He's been bad.
And it really sucks because you just gave him that big deal.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, a big deal. $17 million a year for corners. And it makes you think, like, what if we say no to him and bring back Cam Bynum? Cam's been balling out in Indianapolis, and
he's got however many picks already this year. It's like 3 or 4.
3 or 4, I think. Yeah.
Which I think you and I can each agree. We kind of dismissed the Byron Murphy or not Byron, Cam Bynum walking.
Mm-hmm.
We were each higher on Theo Jackson than I think we should have been. You kind of had me tell us that you're gonna move him around, listen that, and then you also kind of knew that Jay Ward would get some more playing time too, and that's worked out a little bit. But the impact you've lost with Bynum is definitely showing.
If I had to go back, I think I'd still say as bad as Byron Murphy, the corner depth going in this year was so bad, and like you needed to get him back at least.
That's true.
But what if, like, I think maybe knowing what happened now, if you use that money you spent on Hargrave and then like signed Cam Bynum with that money, this defense would be like another step up. But you have no way of knowing. Like at the time, we were all in love with this class. Next one is Will Fries. I'll let you start this one off. Well, how is Will Fries?
I think I'm sure you've got the PFF grade and all that, but just off my memory, probably not totally worth the value we signed him for, but I do think he's better than having Ed Ingram. So you still have an upgrade there. I still have faith in him. So I think it may not be worth the total money we invested in him, but overall, I think I'll say slightly better than okay, like slightly above average for him.
So he ranks at 16th right now. So not what you're paying for, just not at all. But it'll get better. And you can kind of see it. I mean, there's a lot of guys getting right through the line, kind of on his side or right kind of past him. But I mean, like we said, it'll get better. I don't really have another word on that. It's been okay to a bit below average. All right, next one is Ryan Kelly, and this one's an interesting one because how old is Kelly now? Like he's a bit older than
32.
I was gonna say 33, but obviously I'm terrible with my ages. So he came in with 3 or 4 concussions already in his career. He's had problems. Last year in 2024, he was ranked the second ranked center in all of the football league, the NFL. And like he played the whole year, and it was his first time doing that in a while. But he's been hurt a lot in his career. He's old. He is really good when he's on the field, but we should have been more cautious about this. But the Ryan Kelly deal, it's a 2-year deal, but really either side can decide at the end of the year this year. It's a
He'll
mutual
be gone.
option. And Trevor and I both agree he will be gone after this
And
season.
not only gone, I think he's just a concussion history alone and the age. He's hurt again with, what is it now? He's hurt with a hip. I think he's almost certainly going to retire, which is too bad because he's not going out the way he would have wanted. But like, at least for me, I think you and I can each agree that we had no idea of the concussion history when we got him. I didn't know.
I knew about it. I didn't think much into it because he'd been healthy for like a year and a half before that. He hadn't had money issues recently, but that's why I said like I should have like looked into that even more because like you can't push that aside. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
But because when we make that signing, we make a signing and it's you just got the second ranked center in all of the league last year. Boom, perfect replacement for Bradbury. But
no, at the time. So for the high hopes we had, it's really disappointed, mostly because of injury, but also oh my God, he looked so bad in Green Bay.
Oh gosh.
Or I guess, we don't got to put on Kelly. The whole team did, but yeah.
He got put on his ass a few times by Parsons, though.
Where he literally got ran over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not ideal for Kelly.
Isaiah Rodgers having a good year. Has that pick six in Cincy, or that perfect. He's the only player in NFL like perfect rating.
Which is why we paid him. We knew that
exactly.
No, the Rodgers signing has been pretty clutch. I think he slightly struggled recently, but overall, as you mentioned with re-signing Byron Murphy, extremely thin at corner.
Yeah. So. And this was our first signing. This is the guy B-Flow hammered his fist on the tables like, this is our guy. All right, you guys better sign him. But yeah, he's been good. Just good. Yeah. As I mentioned when I said the list, Tyvery Thomas, number 37 for anyone who doesn't know, on the special teams. He's committed like 3 special teams penalties this year. He's a corner, but he's just not going to be on. He's not going to. You're not going to see him on defense. Yes, exactly.
He's listed as a corner, but if you see him out on corner, we're in a deep problem. So
yeah, exactly. All right, the next thing they did after all free agency, they restructured Harrison Smith, keep him here for one last year, one more ride, and now zooming forward, we are 4-8. Great last year for Harry. And then what they did, they traded Ed Ingram for a 6th round pick in the 2026 draft. Good there. And then the next thing they did, they made a trade, which you and I know both like, traded away a 2025 5th round and 2026 6th round pick for Jordan Mason and a 2025 6th round pick. So you get a 6th round pick in the 2025 draft plus Jordan Mason, who's been a good back. So
yeah,
and he was
also say who has been underutilized, especially in the games where they're throwing it way too much when McCarthy, in the games that McCarthy has started and played in. So, oh my gosh, do I ever really hope they say, well, we'll see how the final 5 games goes, but especially for next year, oh my gosh, they got to utilize him more and get him involved more. And that's
he's a horse. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure you and I and most other fans, I think we can agree, Aaron Jones is gone. So whether you draft a stud rookie, maybe sign another guy, you trade for another running back, but regardless, you gotta run it more with Mason. And then I don't know if you have this noted too. It just popped in my head, but trading Harrison Phillips.
That's coming up. Okay. Yeah, that's coming up. Before the Harrison Phillips was the draft. I'll go through this very quick. Yeah. Donovan Jackson, you drafted in the 1st round, looks like a stud. He's a great offensive lineman for the future. Agreeance there, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then you acquired picks 102 and 142. Oh, and by the way, if people remember this, we went into this draft with 4 picks. So make with that what you will. We acquired 102 and 142 by sending pick 97 and 187 to Houston. All right. And then at 102, you draft Ty Felton, who this is another weird one because Ty Felton, it seems like they have no trust. I think Miles Price is higher than him on the receiving depth chart right now for a third round wide receiver.
But with today's earlier news with Thielen,
yep.
It'll be interesting who the first sub in or fill in. So whether it's just a receiver tired and need one or 2 days off, I'll be curious. I think it would be Price just because of his playmaking ability. Yep. But it'll be interesting seeing those two battle it out the next final 5 years.
Definitely will be. And then you draft in the 5th round, you draft Tyrone Ingram-Dawkins, the defensive tackle, and now you're kind of, I think Hargrave and Allen, they see how bad they're playing. They're kind of limiting their snap count even more. You are seeing Ingram-Dawkins in on a lot more plays. And I don't know if you know this, Trevor, but Ingram-Dawkins set like a bunch of records for being like the top athlete. So the dude is a freak athlete. Yeah. He just needs to get more of the technique down at the defensive tackle position with his swim move, with his power moves and stuff like that. But either way, I think he could be a good play for this defense, which this D-line is bulking up in a good way. And then in the middle of the draft, you acquire Sam Howell and pick 172 in this draft by sending 142 to Seattle. So you give up 1 pick, you drop 30 picks. And you acquire a backup quarterback who turned out to get traded later, but we'll get to that. Yeah. And then in the 6th round with that pick, you drafted Kobe King, a linebacker out of Penn State. And then in the 6th round, you also drafted Gavin Bartholomew, who's been dealing with some back injury for the entire year now.
I haven't heard any updates on him. I don't know if you have, but
Kobe King's just a special teamer, obviously, right now. He could be a piece in the future, maybe next year if we don't re-sign Cashman or Eric Wilson or something like that. But Gavin Bartholomew, that's a weird one because a 6th round tight end, he should be on the depth chart, but he's just been dealing with injury ever since the start of training camp. And he's just not coming back at all. Notable UDFAs, Tyler Batty, he's on the team right now, outside linebacker out of BYU. Obviously, the big one from this weekend, Max Brosmer, rip off that Band-Aid. And then offensive lineman, they also got the number 1 rated UDFA in this draft class too, Logan Brown. He was the number 1 rated UDFA. And I thought he would make the team, honestly, over the center or backup center Juergens. And then also another one I thought had a chance to make the team, tackle Joe Huber. Mm-hmm. And then another one that I think everyone expected to make the team at corner was Zamiah Vaughn, another tall corner. He's 6'3". That he had a lot of talk going on this past training camp. And then one guy, a tight end, who's getting playing time now in these 13 personnel sets, Ben Urasek. So he's on the team right now. But honestly, probably the most complete UDFA class. You have a few guys on the roster right now and a few guys that, like Logan Brown and Joe Huber, they're both on the practice squad. So, I mean, maybe decent options for the future. So.
And Brosmer, if we all forget what just happened against Seattle, he played about as perfectly as you could in preseason. I get it's preseason, it's third stringers versus third stringers, second stringers at best. But I am trying to remember. So the final preseason game, or maybe not final, the preseason game against New England started their defensive starters.
Yeah.
Did Brosmer start that game at quarterback?
Yeah, he did.
The portion?
Yeah.
Because if he did, and you see how good New England's defense is, and once again, I know it's preseason and they're playing very vanilla defense. You're not showing any extreme blitzes or any disguises. But I don't know. There's still the potential and promise there for a backup. I'm not even talking for starting. If he's starting more than this one's, I mean, it sounds like McCarthy will be back, but out for future looking, if you can develop him as a backup, that could pay off.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And this Seattle game too, he had 4 interceptions. One went right through Jalen Naylor's hands. One, Justin Jefferson got hit as the ball was right on his chest.
And you could argue, I get it's bang bang, and I get why there wasn't a flag in that game was so far gone that I didn't even bother to care. But you could argue defender probably got there a half second early.
On Justin, that play? Yes, I was going to say that too. Yeah. So like 2 picks. What was the other one? Was the blue screen of death, just heaving
Yes.
it, like shoveling it. What was the fourth one? That was at the end of the game, right? It was just an overthrow, right?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Either way, he had 2 where it's like kind of his receiver's fault, to be completely honest, and maybe a penalty could have been thrown on one.
Yeah.
Like Trevor said, the game was far gone either way. Either way, good UDFA class this year again because Kwesi doesn't miss on those. And then everything that's happened since then, you extended Andrew Van Ginkel 1 more year. You extended Josh Metellus for a 4-year deal, and then you do trade Harrison Phillips and a 2027 7th-round pick to the Jets for a 2026 6th-rounder and a 2027 6th-rounder. So 2 6th-round picks 2 years in a row, and then they get Phillips and a 7th-rounder next year. So, I don't know. The Vikings have gotten gashed a ton in the run game from like some like Kenneth Gainwell, some like bad running backs in this league.
Right.
So maybe it could have helped out having Phillips, but it's a good way to get the contract gone, that $10 million or whatever, I guess. But and then right at the start of the season, they traded Sam Howell to the Eagles. Wasn't it just for cash or like just a random like 7th-round pick? I think.
I don't know.
I
I don't
forget.
think you can trade for cash in the NFL, but
Or
basically you get his contract off. It was probably like
yeah,
versus a compensatory 7th, which could maybe very well turn into nothing. I
yeah.
honestly forget, but the value there is extremely.
Either way, it was nothing.
Like
So,
whatever.
but then
Wait, he was gonna get cut, so even
Yeah.
if I mean it's either get absolutely nothing or maybe get a
Yeah.
small return. So at least get something.
Because then on that same day you signed Carson Wentz, and use him as a sacrificial lamb in a few games. So, and then you trade Mekhi Blackman to the Colts for a 6th-round 2026 pick. So Mekhi Blackman, not for compensatory or anything like that. Blackman for a 6th round in the upcoming draft. So, I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier. We kind of gave up on him. Could have had a good year this year because he's had a good one with the Colts. And then this one, I think I could dub this as the nostalgia factor is obviously key here. And this is the only reason why they did this. But they traded a 5th-round pick in the next draft and a 4th-round pick in the 2027 draft for Adam Thielen, an aging wide receiver. And here's the thing. At the start of the season, Addison's going to be suspended for 3 games. And then Jalen Naylor also had a hand injury where originally they thought he was going to be out about 6 weeks. So, but then Naylor went to California, got like some specialists to look at it and said, you can either do surgery and be out for those 8 weeks, or you can get the short-term thing done and be ready for the opener, which he did, obviously. And that kind of caused Adam Thielen to have literally no playing time here, which will lead to the next transaction they did. But yeah, you give up a 5th round this next year and a 4th-round pick for Adam Thielen. You do get a conditional 7th-round pick in the next draft and then a 5th-round pick in 2027, but a 5th and a 4th-round pick for Thielen.
It was a little steep, but we also thought he was gonna play and
exactly
kind of rotate between the top 4
and
and well, like I remember Jarius Wright from however many years ago that was, him being a very reliable, a little bit of a pull, but he was like this reliable 3rd down guy, and that's what Thielen should have been. But everything about mainly poor quarterback play, some poor play calling on O'Connell's part to put the quarterbacks in a bad spot. So
the offensive line played horrible the first couple of weeks too. So it doesn't help.
It does make you wonder with how productive he was with Carolina, even though Carolina didn't really overall his team success wasn't good his first years there. My one prediction, if we want to make a prediction for what team goes to, off the top of my head, I haven't thought of it much, but maybe the Bills, because I mean the Bills don't have like a true number 1. Because what is it? Coleman and Shakira, their top 2, unless I'm blanking on.
Yeah, but do you think Thielen would rank above them in that room?
Well, no, I'm not saying he'll start, but I'm trying because I think
I think he would start for sure.
I think you find maybe he's a number 2 if you find the right team, because you gotta think of obviously playoff teams.
Sorry. For people, real quick, for people that didn't see today, the Vikings waved at him, Thielen. It was per request from Thielen because of playing time. He wanted to go somewhere that he could play in his last year or two. He said he's going to come back to retire here as a Viking, which that's awesome. But all right, keep going.
But no, I think Bills or the other connection I'm thinking is maybe New England because you have that Diggs and Thielen reunion.
Oh, that would be so cool. That would be cool.
But unless you can think of another playoff team,
I'd like to see the Patriots. Like I genuinely like that. Yeah,
because there's a solid chance all three NFC North teams make the playoffs. The Lions are actually in more trouble than I think people realize with their schedule. For remaining games, they actually might miss out, which would be kind of funny considering we were the top two teams, us, the Vikings and Lions, and Vikings aren't making it. That's not a shock, but the fact that the Lions, who I think going into there were probably top 5 for favorites for winning the Super Bowl, and they might not even get in. So, but for Thielen's sake, I don't see him playing for the Bears, Lions, or Packers just because of the Vikings' loyalty. The Rams are deep at receiver. I don't think he's going to the Rams. But I don't know. That's already a handful of teams here kind of eliminating, you would think. So Patriots or Bills, maybe?
Maybe the Niners. They're not deep at receiver, and they are 9-4 right now, going into their bye week. So maybe the Niners.
That is true.
Yeah, or maybe the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't very deep either, like at receiver.
Yeah, but the thing is, well, I would argue with the Chiefs because you saw Hollywood Brown, you have
Worthy and Rashee Rice. I guess I forget Rashee Rice is back.
But Rice, and then also they're 6-6, and are they even going to make the playoffs?
I would say yes, just because it is Patrick Mahomes, and they're gonna somehow like make a run and probably make it to the AFC Championship game. But
so we'll see.
But we could do a segment about that in the next few days. Best landing spot, yeah. But I think for today though, we're pushing it already. We'll have to get a segment of that in, but yeah, that's obviously today. That's the latest transaction from the Vikings. So if I go back real quick, 2022, we had one reliable guy in Naylor, and then I'm just doing drafts here. In 2023, Addison is the only guy there. I'm not going to count Jay Ward because he's playing 5% of the defensive snaps right now in his third year. So that's 2. In 2024, I want to say like JJ McCarthy, but people would disagree and hate me for that. But he is your starting quarterback right now.
Yeah, I would count McCarthy because, I mean, you got to build his experience. He's at least going to start the start of next year, barring an injury. So,
so play. him and Dallas Turner. So that's 4. And then Will Riker was in that draft. So 5 guys there. And then this draft, Donovan Jackson.
Well, hold on. Do you want to count Juergens? Isn't Juergens a part of that draft?
Right. Yeah, he. Oh, sorry. Let me count Levi Drake Rodriguez. That would be 6. True. I'm not going to count Juergens. I don't. Levi Drake Rodriguez. That's 6. But then this draft, Donovan Jackson.
Felton.
Wait a second. Would that be 6?
I think we missed one. Well, Jackson.
I don't know if I count Ingram Dawkins yet. I think he could be good in the future, but as of right now, in the past 4 drafts, like today, you have 5 or maybe 6. I didn't count
regulars.
5 or 6 starters, or some of these guys like
that subbing a lot.
Jalen Naylor's the 3rd wide receiver on your team. Like Levi Drake Rodriguez, he's close to starting, or he should be sometimes. I guess
he plays a lot of the running starting,
but. Dallas Turner's your 3rd on your edge rusher, obviously, but you have 2 veterans there. JJ McCarthy has looked terrible in the games he's played. So really, you have 2 guys that have played.
Detroit.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, though, 4 drafts in a row, and you have 5 guys that contribute. Terrible. Not a good spot. It deserves a round of applause for how bad it is. Either way. It's been bad. And the other thing Trevor mentioned earlier, for college into the draft and stuff, I am a huge college football fan. Trevor watches some of it sometimes, but in the off season stuff, you can count on me to bring you many guys that I want to see the Vikings draft and have a lot of episodes with some mock drafts, with some other things that pertain to the draft and what I want to see in the Vikings future from that. And these guys will join for it and have their own thoughts. But so that'll come in the off season because I am very wrapped up in the college football world too. So, but for today, that's a good hour, 20-minute session of talking about the last 4 years and how it could have gone better or worse, mainly if it could have gone better. But for today, I think we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Twin City Sports Talk. Check us out. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. That's Trevor Kramer. I am Bruce Kramer, and we will see you guys tomorrow.